Well, hi everybody. I'm going to go walk through our course together with you this summer, and I hope you're as excited as I am. It's going to be fast-paced. We take 10 weeks to cover what we normally do in 16 weeks, and that is all about writing in this class. You're in here because you were in English 101, either just previously or some time ago, and that writing was topical. Ours is going to be based on literature. So there's two things going on in this class at Lawson State Community College, which is typical for community colleges, is to have a writing emphasis that is focused on literature. So there's going to be reading of the stories, analyzing the stories, and then writing about the stories. To meet our STARS requirement, we have to have 4 essays. Okay, it used to be 6, so that's good. So there's 4, but they're full length. 2 of them, this is important, 2 of them are written as exams, okay, which means they're proctored. So the midterm exam is an essay that you write about our stories in a timed and proctored environment, 2 hours long. And then the same is true for the final exam, 2 hours proctored, writing about our stories or a particular story. ProctorU, if you're brand new to eCollege online courses at Lawson State, that's something you need to kind of get set up there. And if you can look here on this page that I am showing you, you'll see ProctorU mentioned twice, and it's in our syllabus as well. So things about ProctorU testing are going to be in this module. That's what this is called, a module. And then also down here with the midterms. ProctorU is an online testing service, and you need to have that set up ahead of time. You have to schedule your exam session ahead of time, at least 72 hours. But you have to make sure you have a computer that works with them. Just because your computer works with Blackboard doesn't mean it'll work well with ProctorU. And one of the things we have learned is that it does not work at all with Chromebooks. Is that the end of the world? Only if you can't get that issue resolved by the time the midterm exam is scheduled and is on the schedule. So you could borrow somebody else's computer, but it does need to be a personal computer. Work computers don't work, okay? Because there's certain stuff they have to download to be able to. They watch you, they monitor you, they lock down the computer. There's just things that they have to do. They take control of your screen and stuff. If you've done it with them before, hopefully, just make sure you check in advance, because that's a requirement. All right, so in here we have our modules set up like all of our courses are supposed to be. There's a little welcome here. The About This Online Course Start here is important. So even if you have done online courses before with us, there's information that's just to this course. So some of the key ones are the course syllabus agreement, but of course it says that you have read the syllabus, and that syllabus is right here, and you should download that. You click on the little 3 dot, that's the menu, download the original file, and you'll see all the policies that govern our course. It's things like, what are we going to be doing, how are you graded, and what are the late policies, what are, that kind of thing, how is it all set up. So you need to look at that. That's very important, and come back to that when you have a question. There will be a syllabus quiz as well. Some basic course information, but here, course materials. Hey, I got exciting news. You do not have to buy a textbook for this class. Now, there is one if you want to feel more comfortable with one, but Cengage doesn't have that one as an ebook anymore. You might find an old used one if you like that. But I will have all the information about the stories in a PDF or in a PowerPoint or something that you need to know for your content, which is great. So the only thing you have to buy for this class is the Criterion revising software. And I think it's still $17, and it's good for 6 months. So that means if you bought it in January for English 101, it's going to run out in June, and you'll still have July. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And it takes a little while for it to come in, because you can't just, I don't know what the bookstore is going to be like actually this summer, but you're an online student. You order it online with the bookstore, and they can have it shipped to your house, or they can have the code emailed to you. And if you have any questions, contact the bookstore. But you'll see it as a material that you get. You won't see the compact literature anymore, but you'll see Criterion Online Writing Service, and you can purchase it there. If you buy it now, let's see, you'll have your first in June. If you need it for anything else, it would still be good till like December, or close to December. All right, that's the only thing you have to buy for our class. Yay! And it may take a little time. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. I don't know, but work that out with the bookstore. So there's other things here. Some information about me. I'll let you read about that. I've been doing this for quite a while. In this format. Matter of fact, I think I've been doing this particular course I built originally 7 years ago. Wow. Now it's been tweaked a little since then, and this is a brand new video, but some of the videos are a little bit older, but they're on the content that we've had and have repeated there. Okay. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I always take the feedback I get from students to try to make things clearer. But if I get an email from you saying, I don't know what to do, it's because you haven't looked for it, because it's all there. It's all here. It's meant to be fully self-sufficient. The way to contact me, though, is by regular Lawson State email. I will even read your Gmail or Yahoo email sent to my email account, rduncan@lawsonstate.edu. Okay, but I don't check Blackboard messages as often. I don't get notifications. I have to remember to look there, and so it's not an efficient way. It could be a couple of days to a couple of weeks, so that's not a good way to reach me at all. All right, where you're going to spend most of your time is here in weekly instructions and assignments. There's our dates. Before, let's just check everything else out. So there's a plagiarism module that's required. I give you a couple of weeks to go through that and watch the videos and take the quiz, because I have more issues with students plagiarizing in this class, unfortunately, than I do any of my others. And it's because there's so many resources out there about the stories that we read. Well, I know what resources I put in my course that you're supposed to use, and I know when you're using, I can tell. But when you're copying them and using them, that's not permitted, and so you're not supposed to be using outside resources. So that's a pretty big deal. All right, so I have this class resources link that has more about the actual, like how to use Criterion. There's a little video for that because there's assignment points. And then there's a folder for this. But please look here. If you have any issues with it, once you've gotten your codes, then you've got to call Criterion. I just set it up. I can't fix the issues for that. There are two codes that you have to have. One is the serial code that you buy from the bookstore, and then I provide the class access code that you can, it's both. So here's the class access code. You just won't be able to do anything in Criterion until you personally buy your own serial code number from the bookstore, like we were just talking about. And that's the only thing you have to buy. If you hate watching extra videos, you've kind of signed up for the wrong kind of class, because we are basically a video-based class. But there is a PDF if you want to read through the instructions, and then I have the link. Oh, this is the link, sorry, there's a link there to Proctoru and getting set up with them. You want to do that early on. I have more information about using Proctoru under the exams, because that's where you're going to use them. So there's some general information, there's a link there, there's a video introduction. Once we get closer, you'll see, the exams will show up. They get the password access code for those, so you have to go through them to take your course. All right, I didn't want to take too much longer, but I will say, I post announcements weekly. That's important. Attendance is really only a big issue when it comes to the attendance I have to report at the beginning for financial aid. But everything else, you don't want to be skipping, anything here. This is coming to class in week 1. And I've tried to give as much helpful information as possible. the week number, the kind of an overview of what story or what we're studying, the dates for that. And even when it says May 31st, which I know is Memorial Day, okay? But we run Monday to Sunday regardless, and I gave an extra day for the discussion board in that week. You know, we have things that have to be done, and as in a fully online course, you decide if you're going to do them early in the week and then again later. Here's the key thing, okay? If you wait to do everything Sunday night, that's not going to work very well. You're going to struggle, okay? You might get stuff done and pass, but you're going to struggle because any issues you run into, I'm not an on-demand live person on Sunday night or Saturday night or Sunday morning to help solve those problems. I'm available live Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Via email, and I can respond very quickly. I can set up a Zoom conference if need be, if there's a super big issue that can't be resolved any other way. A lot of times those students will say, I don't know how to do something or whatever, and they just haven't looked where to find where the resource is because they maybe have skipped something like this, okay? So you click on it, it's going to open up. We start with several introductory things. There's always a to-do list. I've got our navigating. I'm going to update that. I've got a syllabus video. I'm on demand via video, okay? I've got videos on nearly everything, and I try to keep them short, under 15 minutes. I've got to get that. I got to get the syllabus updated. But here's our introductions, and I've got some updating for dates, obviously. But you have a quiz, and you post things, and then there's a diagnostic essay that is graded primarily, for participation, but it does give a sense of where you are coming in and what to expect, okay? Because I do expect that you have learned certain things in 101, but it's a way to check and see. All right, and so, yeah, that one looks in better shape. There's the discussion for everyday use. So the discussion boards, let me real quick say, the discussion due date is usually midweek for posting and replying by Sunday night. So you have to have something in there for people to read, so we can't wait till Sunday night to do that. There's typically a story, discussion, and a quiz, but there's also going to be, especially because we're in a condensed, almost like a mini term, because regular spring would be 8 weeks, we're in 10, an assignment, okay, that has to do with the analysis that's going to be a piece of the essay that you write. So that first week it's conflict analysis. The next week it's going to be, I'll have an outline for you to follow, but then there'll be a draft of the essay that uses conflict analysis, and then you'll be, turning it in while we move on to things. And right now I'm really only tending to have the first few weeks visible to you, and then I'll be getting more of them out there for you. Okay, I think I got everything I wanted to talk to you about, just making sure you knew how to find things and kind of what to expect. Details, the devil's in the details, but the details are important. So read that syllabus, make sure you're reading the instructions. And let me kind of go real quick on one of them here. You can see part of the introduction ones here, but let's go to the conflict analysis since I've got about another minute. And once you hit view assessment, you've started some things when you can save and close, whatever, but if you've got one attempt, then keep that in mind. All right, there's a little video on how on this where I'm talking about it. Okay, what conflict analysis is. That's a backup. You really should have been doing this first. Okay, this is the instructional materials. This is what takes the place of coming to class twice a week, or even, in summer it would be twice a week for 2 hours each time, 4 hours of class time. And if you're skipping that, it's going to show in your grades. Okay, so there's PDFs. There's the story PDF of everyday use. There's a conflict analysis PowerPoint and a PDF. There's the video I made going over what conflict analysis is with another link, and then some little kind of, breaking it down with some visuals of conflict types protagonist, antagonist, literary analysis worksheet, some review of basics for college essays that are for 101 and 102. Okay, so lots of resources here to take the place of what we would do live for 4 hours. And that is it. So don't skip that stuff. You can do it Monday night at 1 a.m. if you want to, or Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., you know, whenever. But you need to decide, when is your class time? Okay, when are you going to spend that an hour, or, you know, maybe it's an hour every day, or but remember, you're replacing 4 hours of on-campus or virtual class time, so it's got to happen somewhere in your week. All right, well, hey, let's buckle up. It's going to be an intense semester, but it's going to be a good one. And I would say the last thing is, make sure you read my feedback. If you see a little purple box of lines next to a grade, that means I wrote down into specific comments, and you need to see what they are, especially for an essay assignment, to see what you need to do to improve for the next one. I'm here to help.